I went into the cubicle, I did a wee standing up like a pro. I leaned forward and pressed the flush, and as I did, my phone came out of my front pocket, and I don't know if this happened for you, but it was like slow motion, right? And I was like, no! Splash! So from the outside, it just sounded like I'd done the most terrifying poo.
When did you guys decide that you first wanted to get into comedy?
Me and Hamish have kind of a similar road, and I guess because we both lived in Christchurch separately in different houses in different schools. We did the high school theatre sports competition, which is what you do if you can't play sports, and then if you're really good at it, once you leave school they invite you to do it as a job.
I went to a comedy night in Wellington at Indigo, and I was like, some of these guys are I'm sure I could do at least as good as the worst guy here. And then it turns out I couldn't. I was terrible.
The worst thing that can happen in road rage is that you may have accidentally left the windows down and the person hears you. And even if that happens, you can literally piss off in the other direction at 100 kilometers an hour.
How did your first ever stand-up performance go?
I think it went okay. I think it was more about my personality than my material that made it okay. The second time was horrible. Second time I bombed hard.
I did get introduced by the MC, he was throwing out random introductions for dudes doing their first time, and he introduced me as the man who founded the Chipmunks chain of children's entertainment pairs. Which was amazing because it was too specific to be made up to the audience, so they just kind of looked and go, he must have started them when he was a child. That's why they're so good. It's made for children by children. That's amazing.
Baby business genius is now going to wow you with his stand-up.
And he was a great flatmate to have because he had the most beautiful laugh. It could light up your day. You see, you could tell him a joke and he'd go, oh. Oh my goodness. So
What's your worst ever experience on stage?
My worst experience was when a woman urinated so much that the whole audience had to leave the room, and she was like a philanthropist or something who liked to get wasted and watch performances and had to get carried out by the
philanthropist.
I do have some dating tips for y'all, if you'd like them. Woo! One wants them, the rest of you will get them.
How do you guys deal with a heckler sort of situation?
The worst ones are just drunk people. The fun ones, as you guys say, are people who usually they're trying to be part of the show and they're not quite sure where the line is between performer and audience member. And I actually really love it when people get into that zone because they're usually quite socially inept and they don't really know what they're saying, and what they say doesn't make a lot of sense.
What goes into the writing process when you're putting together an hour show?
Mine is a mess.
Same.
Mine is zero process at all until a week before it.
Some people are quite disciplined and good at going, here's the show I want to do, and then they build a whole bunch of jokes about that. I read a really good interview that Ursula Carlson gave, that she picks her theme and then builds all the jokes. And I do the opposite, where I just get all of the bits that I've written and try and shoehorn them into some sort of narrative.
If someone watching this was thinking of getting into comedy for the first time, what would you say to them?
Stop!
I have to agree with everyone else. No, do, and suck at it for ages, because you're going to have to suck at it for so long, and if you can get through the period of sucking, you're going to be so awesome at the end of it. It's going to be so much fun. And then once you get to that stage where you get amazing responses and it's awesome, that never diminishes. It always feels awesome.